Thanks very much, Courtney. Well, the new novel Chai Tea Sunday is already garnering a lot of buzz. Today is debut Canadian author Heather A. Clark. She is joining us to talk about her book. Welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so Heather, Chai Tea Sunday, tell me about the book.
Sure. Chai Tea Sunday is the story of an everyday woman, someone who thinks her whole life is mapped out. She has an amazing husband, a fulfilling career, a wonderful home. And sadly, she and her husband go through a pretty complicated tragedy, and they approach it in different ways. And as a result, their marriage falls apart. So feeling like she's emotionally lost, Nikki, who's the main character in the book, decides to accept a volunteer teaching position in the tiny little town called Gong, which is about 20 minutes outside of Nairobi in Kenya. And really, the story is Nikki's journey in Kenya, and it's about all of the people she meets, and it's about how she helps them, and more importantly, how they help her. And I think really at its heart, this story is one about hope. It's about one woman who, despite going through such a tragedy, still has the courage to go to a country where she can help others, but then ultimately finds out that there's no way she can help these kids at the orphanage as much as they help her.
So why Kenya?
It's a really great question, actually, and my cousin Rachel has been there several times, and she returned from Kenya the first time, and I couldn't get enough of her stories. And we were catching up at a family event, and she was telling me all about her travels. And it wasn't the devastation or the despair that we hear so much about, which sadly far too much exists, but it was what pinned all of these things together, which is the story of hope. And so I approached her and I said, can you help me? Because I've never actually been to Kenya myself. And thankfully she's an amazing person and grabbed hold of the project. And it was really when she returned to Kenya, the second time that this book came alive, because she was there and I was here and I was getting the details from her, things like what does the dirt feel like, or how long does it take you to walk to church, and she was feeding the information to me.
So you had a direct link to Kenya? A
direct link to her, and she was there, I was here, and I was writing it into the story. And you know, it's she was living this in real time while I was writing the book, and as a result, so many nights were like tears onto a keyboard because it was so emotional. And it's one of the reasons that it's so very important to me to give back, and so proceeds from the book go to support an amazing charity called Artbound, which I'm so thrilled to be.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about Artbound. I've heard a lot about it,
yeah.
And I know you're a part of it.
Yes, I love Artbound. It's a fantastic charity that really, they work with Free the Children, and really what they do is they harness the power of the arts to make sure that they harness the power of the arts, and they go to Kenya and they build schools for kids in Kenya. The next one is going to be in India. They also provide food, water, medical supplies. But what I really love about this charity is that they teach the children through art how to actually provide a sustainable income for themselves. So things like beading, for example. So they'll teach the kids how to bead, and then the kids can sell that beading, the beadwork, when they get older, and break the cycle of poverty.
Well, Heather, thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. We appreciate you. She's going to be at McNally Robinson on Grant. If you want to pick up a signed copy of her book, there it is, Chai Tea Sunday. We're going to take a quick break here on BT, but stay with us.
Thank you.